Excuse me. I've got my mouth full. I'm eating what I make. Okay. Now these, I call these pizza bases. They may not be pizza bases as far as you're concerned, but for me, they're pizza bases. I don't like the ordinary pizza bases because I like crispy bases, and these are beautifully crispy. And how I've made them a version of the pancake batter, but I've made it quite sticky, as you can tell. That's gluten-free flour. There's no ordinary flour in my kitchen, so I'm not going to muck it up and make the mistake. Okay, so there we are. I just do a version of the pancake batter, but I make it much stickier, much thicker, and I put it, instead of milk or water, I use oat milk. My mind went blank a minute there. I use oat milk, and I use a bit of yogurt, and then I just leave it a while. Same as pancake batter. It does better if you just leave it stand a while. It needs to breathe. You can put it in the fridge, but I'm not Nadia or Nigella. I don't have one that I prepared earlier. This is the one that I prepared earlier. You can see that the batter is quite sticky. It's sticking to my hand, and I make it into, just put a little bit of flour on it, gluten-free flour on it, just to make it so I can make it into a ball. But you will notice that it's a bit sticky, and you will have to organise your workbench to accommodate that. I like this board. Actually, this board has a history. It is a part of the our sister studio in Bendigo, our sister yoga studio. Neville, who made the studio there, he did a lot of the beautiful woodwork, and he saved some of the, here we are, and he saved some of the wood, and I asked if I could have one, and I've used it for my chopping board. So every time I use the chopping board, I'm reminded of the lovely studio that's in Bendigo. That's the cat again, wanting to be part of the show. Now I know these are pretty floury, but that's how they are. They won't grow, so you can put two, you know that when you put one on your board, that's the size it's going to be. I know when I was eating gluten flour, I could buy little pizzas without toppings, and about that size. And I enjoyed that size because it meant that I could just do something nice for myself. I didn't have to do anything big. So out of, I think, one cup of gluten-free flour mix and about a cup of oat milk, and I did use a little bit of baking powder in this one. I didn't use it in the pancakes, but I did use it in this, just to give it a little bit more lightness. I don't particularly want it to fluff, but I did do it to make it a little bit lighter. I've got a fancy ring, so all my pancakes are stamped with OMS, which is rather nice. Anyway, it must go there. And then I can put another one in. You'll notice this is a non-stick surface, and I'm not using any oil at all. I'm just allowing it to dry out because I like crispy. If you didn't like crispy, you could put more fluid in it, and you could use an oil or butter or something more than I have. But that's what I do. I mean, it's easy peasy. So it's been, with interruptions, it's been about 20 minutes, and I've made 7 pancakes, and it will be 5 pizza bases for one. And I'm not sure how much it would have cost me, but not much at all, I would think. And I use this time as my recreation time. I love being in the garden, but I don't think of my garden as recreation. Mostly at this time of the year it is cold and it's hard work because you're doing pruning and getting ready for winter to come. And the leaves, oh my goodness. You know, they are not good. But they make fantastic mulch. And I made my own, what's it called, a worm farm for cat poop. If any of you have got cats, a worm farm for cat poop is just unbelievably good. I went to Bunnings, and the cheapest one I could get at Bunnings for what I wanted was about $80, and then you had to buy this and that and something or other else to go with it. The $80 was just the basics. And I went down to my local Mitre 10 and I said, you know, I'd been to Bunnings, is there an alternative? And she said, well, she said, I think there is. And she hopped on Google, which I hadn't done. I never think about Google. She hopped on Google and she said, come over here. So I went round to the cash register and she said, look at this. And there was a how to do it yourself special bucket thing for cat poop. So I thought, how wonderful is that? Well, you could use it for dog poop too, but it would be a very small dog. Anyway, so all it was is a bucket with holes put in it, and it's got to have a lid, holes right around the outside and underneath, and my bookkeeper, who is handy with a drill, drilled the holes for me. Took about 5 minutes, and all you do then is put a little bit of dirt or sand or something in the bottom, and then you kind of do lasagna where kitty litter and poop and straw and leftover stuff out of the kitchen, and then you put you put a little bit of water on. And the girl at the Mitre 10 suggested I get some Actozyme, which I use for cleaning my drains anyway, and she said, well, put a little bit of that in just to get it started. And so that's what I've done. So the whole thing, even if I'd have paid for the Actozyme, would have cost me about $12, and this the Actozyme, would have cost me $12 if I'd have bought it specially, but I had some already which I used for the drains, and the bucket cost me $6.99, and Jackie did the drilling for me, which was just a blessing, because I don't have a drill. I actually went out to get a drill and I bought the wrong thing, which wasn't helpful, but she's much better at using a drill anyway. So I did that, and I've left it in the garden, and the good thing about it is that I could have maybe 3 of those, because my cat does enough poop for 3, and sort of the worms would be attracted to that, and they would help my garden. So that's, that's a good thing. And the leftovers that I have from the oat milk that I make, I put that in as well because that's wonderful. That really attracts the worms. They love that kind of mushy stuff. Anyway, this is all we have to do for the pizza bases. Then when you're ready to make a pizza, you just treat this like an ordinary pizza base. They're part cooked. You can see they're not right the way through cooked. They're just part cooked, enough so that you could store them in the fridge or the freezer. The freezer probably would be best. With like the pancakes, put freezer paper between them and stack them. Put them in a plastic container or something is easiest, but still use the baking paper and still stack them. And there you are, the most easiest way, bingo, the easiest way to do pizza bases and pancakes. So I hope you got a lot out of this. I'm going to do a little booklet. Don't forget that I do have a cookery booklet on Etsy, www.myyogabooks.etsy.com, and you will find my wonderful book called, now what did I call it? Rose Petal Jam. So look for Rose Petal Jam on www.myyogabooks.etsy.com, and that's where you'll find the rest. I don't think I have a pancake recipe there, but I certainly have a bread recipe, an easy bread recipe. When I had my little tea rooms at the farm, I used to make about 12 loaves a day, and it was easy. So anybody like me who's not doesn't live to cook and can say that 12 loaves a day is easy, it must have been easy. I did them filled, I did them unfilled, I did all kinds of clever things. But you can see that I like simple. Nothing has changed. I still like simple, and I hope you can get enthused about simple too. Namaste.